Hi, everybody. It's Craig and Arun back with your Thursday college football slate, a rare slate of 4 games for college football against the NFL. Usually it's just 1 or 2. So we've got a nice one. This is for October 9th game, 2025. Before I get to it, don't forget, use that 10% off code. 10% off code for this week. It changes each week. It's Taco Win 10. That's good all the way up through Monday Night Football. So make sure you get in on that. That'll get you 10% off either the individual plays, the week pass, or even the full season pass. Make sure you take advantage of it. Get in on our winners. If you are new, got something special for you. Use a promo code here on the screen, docsports.com/ICCT. We give you a $60 account to use on any of IC and my stuff. So make sure you check us out. Either get the top play or use it towards buying a week pass. Instead of $99 for the week, it'd just be $29 paying the difference. All right, here's what we have. We got Louisiana Tech kicking us off in the opening game at Kennesaw State. Kennesaw State's had a nice season, 3-2 on the year. Louisiana Tech as well, 5-1. How about 5-0 against or 4-1 straight up? 5-0 against the spread. I see Louisiana Tech favored by 7, total 45.5. What do you like?
Yeah, I mean, you get 2 winning teams right now, right? Louisiana Tech is 4-1 and Kennesaw State is 3-2. And Kennesaw State has a pretty good program. The Owls are actually the same team that went to the NCAA tournament, if you remember, in college basketball not too long ago. Before their coach left. And, this is a team that spends a lot of time, and me being in the Southeast, especially following Alabama and Georgia teams quite a lot, I follow a lot of these smaller schools pretty closely. Louisiana Tech, of course, has quietly covered 9 of 10 dating back to last year. Big win against UTEP 30-11. They were only 3.5-point shock, and they won solidly. They beat Southern Miss 30-20. They beat New Mexico State as well. And you have Kennesaw State rolling in, beating Middle Tennessee, beating Arkansas State, beating Merrimack as well. And, they played Indiana earlier this year and lost 9-56. And they played Wake Forest and lost 9-10, which is what gave a little bit of indication that this team could be very good. Now, Louisiana Tech beat this team 33-0 last year, and Kennesaw State does have revenge coming into that game. Louisiana Tech being favored by only a touchdown says something here. Sonny Cumbie is a pretty darn good coach for Louisiana Tech, right? He came over in 2021. He's a former offensive coordinator and QB coach at Texas Tech and TCU, and that kind of experience and exposure has led him to quick success at Louisiana Tech. Jerry Mack of Kennesaw State is a first-year coach. Before at KSU, he used to be the Jacksonville Jaguars running backs coach, right? And he was a head coach at NC Central, and now he's taking over Kennesaw State. So he's a pretty good, he's a running back coach, and he's a ball control type of guy and type of coach. So then you have Kennesaw State, who's winning games by running the ball, right? Totals for them, they went under 44, under 57, under 53.5. And Louisiana Tech is the opposite type, scoring 49, 30, and 30. So when you look at this game and look at the fact that the last year's game does not really matter because this is a brand new coach here, I think what happens in this game is that Kennesaw State is going to be a decent dog. And I think that and look, I understand that Louisiana Tech played a great game against LSU, and I give them credit for it. But they did only beat, Southern Miss by 10 points. This is a Kennesaw State team that, beat Arkansas State, beat Middle Tennessee. They are at home here. I like the fact that this game is listed at 45.5 because I think if this game was listed at 50, there's no way that Kennesaw State can hang tough offensively. However, because it's listed at 45.5, I think it's going to be a defensive-minded game, which favors Kennesaw State because they got a pretty good defense, and they are excellent when it comes to ball control and offensive scheme, especially lineman scheme. So for all those reasons, I'm taking Kennesaw State plus the 7, Craig. Now, another Thursday game. There's a total of 4 Thursday games here. You have East Carolina hooking up against Tulane here. Tulane coming in as a 6.5-point favorite. This is an American Athletic game. East Carolina beating Army 28-6 as 4-point chalk. They've covered 5 of 6 coming in. Tulane comes in beating Tulsa 31-14, which was my 7-star a couple weeks back. They've been on rest since September 27th. They did play Duke and beat them as well. They beat South Alabama. Head-to-head, they haven't played since 2 years ago, so I don't think it's as relevant. With both these teams coming off of a win, with the fact that Tulane is a minus 6.5-point chalk at home on a total of 54.5, who do you like?
I think this is going to be a good game. I really do. I think Eastern Carolina, ECU is one of those teams. You can get the game they had against BYU, you can look at it one or two ways. You can be like, well, that was a pretty big letdown game. Or you just say, BYU is a pretty good team. And you just draw a line through that one. If you do that, I think you can make an argument that they're a live underdog here. And I think East Carolina can win this game. So if you're giving me 6.5 points, I would buy it up to the 7, the key number of 7. I also think it's going to be lower scoring. I think ECU knows if they're going to win this game, it needs to be a little less possessions. Tulane is the more talented offensive team. So, the more possessions you have, the team that's better is probably going to win. So to me, I think they try to run the ball, try to play a smaller possession game. I think you take the underdog and the under. Of those two, I like ECU plus the points. I'll buy the 0.5 to 7 in this one. Next game we're looking at, we go, I believe this is another American League, American Conference. No, this is Conference USA. Jacksonville State at Sam Houston. We've seen a lot of Sam Houston so far this year. Remember, they were on the opening week game as well. Jacksonville State, they lost the whole coaching staff. Rich Rod and the company all went to West Virginia. It took a lot of players. Thought this Jacksonville State team wasn't going to be great. They've been better than I thought. 7.5 point favorite here. Total 55.5. Is this a little too many points here?
Well, look, the Bearcats hired Phil Longo, right? And he's been at Ole Miss, North Carolina, Wisconsin. Sam Houston, he's an offensive specialist, air raid type specialist, right? And then Jacksonville State, of course, hired Charles Kelly, who is, I think he was with
Marshall.
Yeah, he was with Marshall.
Right? No, that's Southern Miss.
No, that's Southern Miss. No, he was from Auburn.
That's what
his experience comes from. He's from Ozark, Alabama. His experience comes from Auburn and Alabama. So, and obviously that makes sense because Jacksonville State is a school with obvious Alabama ties. So you have a Jacksonville State team here with who comes off that 25-42 loss against Southern Miss. They come off of a bad loss. They've lost 3 straight in a row. This team is 2-3. Sam Houston State, of course, is 0-5. We keep thinking this team is going to turn the corner, and I really thought they were going to turn the corner against New Mexico State, especially with that air raid offense, and they did not. We've been giving them the benefit of the doubt because they played good teams: Western Kentucky, UNLV, Hawaii, Texas. Now they laid an absolute egg here, which is really disappointing. These two teams played last year, and Jacksonville State won 24-11, but I think the biggest quality win actually is the team with the, only one that's won a game is Liberty, and which Jacksonville State has. And they come in as a 7.5 point chalk. I think the only thing that makes sense to me is the over in this game. I like the fact that Sam Houston State only scored 10 points that last game. Prior to that, they scored 0 against Texas. So they're going to bounce back offensively. They put up 20 against Hawaii, 21 against UNLV, and 24 against Western Kentucky. And I don't really trust Jacksonville State's defense because they gave up 42 against Southern Miss. But what this team does do well is score, right? 34 against Liberty and 34 against Georgia Southern and 45 against Murray. I like the over quite a bit here between these two teams, Craig. And I think because Sam Houston State can also be an active dog, Jacksonville State, I think, is also coming off a loss. And the way they do well coming off of a loss is usually on the offensive end, not defense. So I like the over 55.5. All right, Craig, the last game on the board on Thursday, Southern Miss on the road here against Georgia Southern. Southern Miss 3.5 point shock. 68% of the public is favoring them. Come off a nice win against these very same Jacksonville State Gamecocks, 42-25. Georgia Southern, of course, comes off that 10-35 loss to James Madison. These two teams have no history against each other. Who do you like?
Well, they both beat Jacksonville State this year, relatively recently. The last game for Southern Miss, I believe it was 3 games back, 41-34. The Georgia Southern beat them. I just think Southern Miss, Huff is the coach here. He's the guy that came from Marshall. We know what he did at Marshall. I mean, he had that unbelievable run, and they still let him go. I think he brought a lot of those guys from Marshall with him here. I think they should be favored by more in this game, to be honest. I think this is a pretty good team. I mean, they only lost to Mississippi State 34-17 to start the year. The Mississippi State teams end up being pretty good, especially like where we just didn't know at the time. I like Southern Miss here. I think they get it done on the road. I think they'll take care of business and get us the cover. I'm not worried about laying the extra hook. No problem. All right, that's what we have for our Thursday games. Don't forget, if you want to get in on all of the college football games and NFL games, make sure you click after this video to get in on those. Also, use that promo code is on the screen here. Taco Win 10 to save 10% off. Good luck.